All right. Hello,
Hey,
Cristina. Welcome.
thank
Um,
you. Happy New Year to you and to everybody watching.
right on. It's 2023. And I'll just introduce myself and let Cristina do the same. My name is D.Lisa West. I'm a dream doula and speaker and artist. I help people tap into their intuition and creativity. And
Oh,
Cristina?
I love that. I am a psychotherapist and relationship coach. I help people overcome the obstacles with themselves and with the ones in their lives through enhancing their communication.
Which brings us right into what we'll love to talk about today. What do you do at the beginning of every year? Do you make affirmations? Do you write down resolutions? Do you decide this year is going to be your best year ever, or at least you consider what you'd like to leave behind? How do you do it, Cristina?
How I do it is, as with everything, I do practice what I preach.
Mm-hmm.
So just like I encourage my clients, New Year's resolutions are like goals of any kind. You actually have to have concrete goals. I think we've talked on this channel before about the idea of SMART goals. The idea of they've got to be specific, they've got to be measurable, they've got to be appropriate, they've got to be realistic, and they've got to be time sensitive. Anagram SMART. I'm sure everyone's using it. It did start I'm just going to say it began with cognitive behavioral therapy, but any program, they're doing it. Why do we say that? Because like I love to say to my clients, a goal that is not concrete like that is a lovely dream. No, dreams are lovely. I love dreams, but if you actually don't have it that specific, that concrete, it's not going to happen.
I have a
So
quote on the wall from my mentor, Mary Morrissey. It says, "Inspiration without action is merely entertainment."
I like that. Inspiration
Because,
without action is merely, I love it. I love it.
yeah, because many of us go, "Oh, I'm so inspired, I'm going to do this." And I'm going to actually find my notes. What did I write down? Somewhere in here. Oh, I might not have put it on this page. 80% of people who write down New Year's resolutions give them up after 2 weeks. 80%.
Yeah, that's a high percentage.
And
Because
70% of people don't even have a goal.
right.
They're just drifting and dreaming
They're
and
drifting.
reacting to life.
Exactly. Yeah? So what does that say? That says you got to have a plan, but you have to have a plan that's actually a realistic plan. Like if you have a New Year's resolution, I don't know, I am going to, you lose weight this year. Okay. But even with that, how specific is that? How much weight do you want to lose? How do you plan to lose it? Do you have a diet plan, exercise plan, health plan?
Right. And I would say to I actually help people do things that seem unrealistic when they dream it up. So their goal might be to lose weight, but then I drill down deeper, like, is it really to lose weight, or would you like to just feel healthier in your body?
Yes.
Would you like to be?
Yes.
And so the goal might be, I have vibrant health. And how is that? And maybe it's drinking juice in the morning, or maybe it's exercising at the gym, or maybe it's taking a walk. Your own intuition, which I heard somebody explaining as intuition is your conversation with your soul. Your own intuition will tell you what next steps you could take. In fact, you could sit around and say, here's my goal. I would love to be vibrantly healthy this year. And then you could say, I'm going to just sit down and write down as many ideas as I can think up, even if they seem silly. And so you could write down, chasing my cat or my dog, or walking to the gym and back, working out with a personal trainer, eating no cookies for a month, or whatever. All those ideas, you can just get them out of your brain, and then you can look at the list again and see which ones pop out, kind of like they're lit up on the page, and you're like, ooh, do that one. Because
I like it.
If you have an idea and if you have a goal or a dream and you want to go there and you just don't do anything about it, think about it, it's merely entertainment.
Yeah, it's merely entertainment. It's
But if you
just, it's
take
lovely.
if you take a tiny step,
Mhm.
then I believe the universe knows you're serious and will
I love it.
help you go there. Like shine the light on the road you're on.
Yes. I love that. The tiny step that shines the road. I love that.
So what's a big goal or dream that you've actually written down and accomplished in your lifetime? Can you think of something that would seem like a really big deal, but then when you look back, you're like, "Ooh, I did that."
So since there's different things, but I'm going to go with this one because it really has impacted in a very positive way. So last year, around this time, I'm a diabetic and I was concerned because my blood sugars were getting a little funny. You know, when you're a diabetic, even if you're doing what you're supposed to do, after a while, unfortunately, so I've been good for the most part, but sometimes so I decided, no, I want to get my A1C down. For those who aren't diabetic, it's how your body handles blood sugar over a 3-month span. I said, this is important for me. I need to get control of this because diabetes affects everything. It's the leading cause of heart disease, leading cause of, believe it or not, dementia. They actually call it dementia diabetes type 3. It's the leading cause of blindness, leading cause of kidney failure. You name a major health issues. They say diabetes because cancer feeds off sugar. They say sugar can even lead to cancer. So I was like, okay, I got to get the sugar under control. So I made this to myself. I said, you know what? I have this goal to get this down. And then how did I do it? I said, okay, let's be honest, sugar's your enemy, carbs, whatever. So I was looking at the different things out there. I looked at keto, carnivore, all this stuff. And I said, I'm not going to follow any specific thing, but I know sugar is bad. I know carbs are bad. And there is this doctor I was following. I like him very much because he explains stuff so beautifully you can understand it. And then there's this, so I liked him. And then there's this other guy, like he was a former Olympiad champion. And now he's into like health stuff and all that. Okay, disclaimer, I'm not saying to do this. I'm not saying this is your path. Okay, whatever you choose to do is your choice. But he really explains stuff well. So his name is Dr. Sten Egbert. I think he's a health medicine doctor now. I don't know what the doctor thing stands for, but he's researched a lot of stuff and he's very detailed. Like he did an hour video on cholesterol. I understand it. It was so well done. Now, also, I don't take anything at face value. Like anything I saw with him, I then read other things. And I went back to the original research and I've looked at other research articles and stuff like that. So I never take anything at face value. But he was talking about just figure out what your body needs. And basically the problem with diabetics is you're insulin resistant. So anything that is going to drive up your insulin, anything that is going to drive up your sugar is bad. So this is where I really had to worry about the carbs. So I cut out all sugar. I cut out all breads, pasta, rice, bye-bye. And it made a difference. I got my A1C to a good level. And on top of that, I lost weight. So I wasn't intending to lose weight, but it was a nice side effect because apparently fat doesn't actually make you fat. Carbs make you fat. So
that's great. So
yeah,
was it hard? Did you think it was hard when you first started? Was it difficult?
I think with anything, and I think if there's a takeaway I could give our listeners, when you do set a goal, know your why for your goal. Know your why. Because if you just say, gee, this would be nice, and it can't be a superficial why. It can't be, I want to look good in a bikini for the summer. That's nice, but it's not a strong enough why. My why was really powerful because I come from a long line of diabetics. I lost both my parents to diabetes-related illness. So I know what this dang thing can do. So when I would feel discouraged and sugar is addictive, you do get cravings. I would be reminded of, you're doing this for your vital organs, literally. You're doing this because you do not want kidney failure. You do not want dementia. You do not want heart disease. You do not want these things.
Beautiful. That's so beautiful. Well, thanks for sharing that, because I think for a lot of people listening, they might wonder, how could I really dream up a goal and have it and not drop it in 2 weeks like the 80% of other people. And one of the techniques that I help my coaching clients with is to give them a scaffolding image. And that is, they see themselves in the future where everything's worked out, whatever this thing is that they want to change. So you might see yourself in the future as a vibrantly healthy person whose diabetes is completely under control. And whatever vision your psyche gives you for that, just like that, you see yourself doing something, maybe eating something, maybe making a meal with someone, like whatever that vision is, you think of it every morning and every night. You just put yourself as if that's really happening right now. And that is kind of like the road, like the exit sign on the freeway. You're going there. You're going to this thing. I remember years ago, my sister came and asked me to help her do some goals. And because I'd been writing down goals and affirmations for about 20 years at that time. And every year I'd vision what I wanted. This much money, this many houses sold, doing this with my family, doing this, blah, 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 blah. And then at the end of the year, I would pretty much forget about it. Back then I didn't have these techniques I use now. And then at the end of the year, I go, oh, I got that. I did that. Put this on next year, put this on for next year. And she was a single mom working full time at the post office then. And she wanted to get her art degree and go to school and finish her college. And so I said, well, write that down. And she spent the next couple years working at night, going to school during the day, managing her life as a busy mom, and she graduated with an art degree. And it was super fun to help her, just someone who'd never written down a goal ever. Like just the power of saying what you want. Or thinking up what you want is so beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah. And something I did recently at one of my workshops is I helped people close out the last year. So I asked them several questions, but this might be the most meaningful question for people. What would you like to leave behind in 2022?
I love that.
Because knowing what we don't want anymore shines a light on what we would love.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
So what do you want to leave behind, if you want to share that with the readers?
What do I want to leave behind in 2020? Would I leave behind 2022? And then what I want for 2020? Well, I definitely left behind major carbs. And I'll never pick it. Yes, they're staying there. They're gone. And I'm at the point now, people can easily, I've had this happen. People actually eat cake in front of me. I don't take a piece. So yes, I have left sugar behind. Left it behind.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yes, no, I left it behind in 2022 and I'm not going back. I'm very happy with my body feeling healthier. What else have I left behind? Left behind doing things that don't feed my soul. I'll get more specific with that. Okay, because I'm sure we can all relate to that. I definitely had in my own life things where I did things to please others. Or I work with clients with people pleasing tendencies and stuff like that. And there is that, because you know what? Nobody wants anyone to be mad at us or disappointed in us. Who wants that? Of course not. But you cannot please everybody. You cannot. So I always say to my clients, when they're feeling pressure to do something, you must answer the question, do you want to do this? And of course, there are going to be things we don't want to do, but be honest. If you really, really don't want to do this, why don't you want to do it? Now, if it's just kind of a half thing, and make sure your reasons for not wanting to do it aren't about self-doubt, aren't about selling yourself short, aren't about, I don't feel like I'm good enough. No, 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 no. I mean, because like I loved what you said, intuition is a conversation with your soul. Because when we listen to our inner voice, our gut, it really is telling us what we want. It really is.
Absolutely.
It totally does. It's like, do you ever find like when you're really like in that groove with your soul where it just feels right? You're like, this feels right. Why does it feel right? Because it is right. Now, again, I'm not saying, we just do things that just feel good and you don't have to work and hard. No, 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 I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about consistently doing things that aren't feeding your soul because you're trying to live up to others' expectations or because you're trying to make someone else happy, but you're to the expense of your own happiness. So that's what I'm talking about. Are
Right.
you feeding your soul? Are you feeding what is important to you?
That's beautifully said, Christina, because we've all heard the term, I had this job that I hated. I felt like I had to leave my soul at the door.
Mm-hmm.
And so what are you doing, dear listener, that makes you feel like you have to check your soul at the door to go do it? It might be the biggest message of all to maybe
Mm-hmm.
figure out a way to stop doing that. I mean, if it's your only job and you need to keep
Yeah,
going, figure out a way to love that job until you find a new one and
exactly.
love it as much as you can. But haven't we all had those days where you think of someone and they call you on the phone? You're
Mm-hmm.
driving somewhere and you see
Yes.
someone else. You go to some random shop and there's the person you've been looking to
Mm-hmm.
talk to for months. Or you're in a bookstore and a book just like pops out at you and it's exactly
Mm-hmm.
the book you need to read right now. There are ways to be in tune with what is next for us in life and what is going to
Yes.
shine our light. And there's ways to be totally disconnected from it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yes, because my birthday comes at the end of the year, it's 28th of December. I often
Mm.
spend the very last week of the year pondering what happened the year before and what I would love to
Mm-hmm.
have in the next year. And it's kind of coincides with everybody's New Year's resolutions as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there we are all like, what happened last year? That was great. What happened last year that wasn't so great? Who was the most important person that helped me last year? This I asked in a workshop, and I think is really powerful. What are your three main losses last
Oh,
year? And
huh.
can you see the silver linings in them yet? Now,
Mm.
that's a painful question if somebody, like, for example, one woman who was in my workshop had lost a child. So I'm
Oh.
thinking, oh, I'm going to ask this question. Ouch, it's going to really kind of pierce her heart. But obviously, she might not know the silver lining in that
Mm-hmm.
loss
Mm-hmm.
yet. But we can all look back and think of, this didn't work out, but something better
Mm-hmm.
did. This
Mm-hmm.
was a terrible thing that I thought was
Mm-hmm.
really bad, but really it was good. I mean, in every loss, there is some gift. We just don't always know what it
Yes.
is.
I do agree with that. I actually was talking to a client about that this morning that, I'm not saying we invite things that are bad because it's still painful. I'm not saying you have to think, but that hurt. Of course, it's going to hurt. But like you said, in every loss, there is look, what have I gotten from it in terms of how have I grown? How have I learned? How have I improved? How have I learned to appreciate things in a different way? I have lost a lot of people that I loved, and it's been painful. So the question is, what? Then it's been the only thing with that is that I am so appreciative of the people that are in my life. I don't hesitate to say I love you. I don't hesitate to give them me in terms of being vulnerable, in terms of letting them know how I feel, because I have learned that we don't know how much time we're going to have with someone.
Oh, that's beautifully said. Plus, the other thing about losing people that we love, and the, you know, the deep soulful pain of it is we loved someone so much that when they're gone, it hurts. I mean,
Yes.
that was like maybe not a gift we knew when they were alive and we were
Mhm.
interacting with them, but you know, you love someone so much that when they're gone, you're like, ouch. That was
Yes.
the gift in it was the love you had, the love that you shared,
Yes.
that you can I mean, I believe we could still feel that love beyond the
Oh,
veil.
yes. 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 I
We
believe
just
that too.
can't talk to the human anymore because they're not in a
Right.
body. Yeah.
Right. But we can absolutely feel the love. Absolutely. We can feel the love. And love is a gift. Love is absolutely a gift. Because think about people who maybe haven't felt loved or been able to give love. So the fact that you can love somebody deeply. And yes, I know it may sound cliche. It's like the poem, it's better to have loved and lost than ever to love at all. But in a way, it's true because what better thing can we feel than to love deeply and completely with our hearts? See, this is where how you handle the life lesson. So if you handle the life lesson of, thank you for the opportunity of having this amazing human being part of my life for the time they were there. Thank you for that wonderful moment to love and know somebody so deeply. And yes, they're not here, but boy, am I grateful for that moment. Am I grateful to have had that gift? I'm gonna go to a movie.
All right, movie. I'm writing it down.
Okay, so the movie Ghost. I'm doing a spoiler for those of you that haven't seen Ghost. I'm doing a spoiler. You know that scene at the end where, so the premise is Patrick Swayze's character, and that movie even resonates even more because the actor has passed on, but again, such a great performance, such a good person in real life too. And so the premise is that he gets killed in the movie by this whole plot. I'm not going to spoil that. You're going to see it. But his ghost is unable to move on because he needs to protect his girlfriend because he's concerned that the people that killed him may come after her. So a lot of stuff happens. He fulfills his mission. And I'm going to do the spoiler, forgive me. If you don't want to know the end, you can fast forward this. So when his ghost is ready to move on, he says to her, the love that you have inside, like all the love, you take it with you. So even though he's leaving, he's taking that love that he had for her, this deep, deep love with him. And that's so beautiful. And I don't know if you heard, so for, and so of generations, when you were growing up, we all watched Sesame Street. And do you know that the guy who played Bob recently passed away?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Now I haven't seen Sesame Street in a long time. Okay. It's been a long time since I was 4 years old. But I actually felt a reaction because even though I didn't know him, but I knew him because, again, he was in my living room day in, day out, teaching little kid me songs. And Christmas Eve on Sesame Street is still one of my favorite Christmas specials, or that whole song, Keep Christmas With You All Through the Year. And I love that song. You should put a link to that, Christmas Eve on Sesame Street. Sweet,
Okay.
sweet, sweet Christmas special. Very adorable. And sad we lost some of the people that were in that. So when we talk about this theme of loss, even though I didn't know these people personally, the fact they are gone now, it does affect you because you knew them in a way. In fact, the Sesame Street themselves, one of the characters who was one of the original characters who was in Christmas Eve on Sesame Street, Mr. Hooper, the actor had died. I forget what year, And they actually, they were, and so says the children's television workshop, always trying to figure out how we can do this for children. They used it as an opportunity to explain death. And they did, and which was a very emotional scene. You know, they're explaining to Big Bird, who didn't understand, you know, why Mr. Hooper isn't going to come back. It was just very moving. They did a beautiful job. And then I noticed when Bob, the actor, died, they showed that same video, because Bob says it perfectly in this video about Mr. Hooper. He's like, Mr. Hooper is always with us, Big Bird, in our hearts, and how we remember him, and how lucky we were to love him.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
I know.
That's so beautiful. Well, we've like twisted and gone down some interesting roads here, and now I think it's time to end this. But let's remember to love our loves while they're still on the
Yes.
planet, because
Yes.
that's the biggest takeaway from the last part of this conversation is who did you love? How well did you love them? Do they know? Don't make loving somebody that you care about a secret. Tell them
Yeah.
how they impact you and how you appreciate them while you can still say it, while they're still here.
Exactly. Maybe make that a goal for this year.
I
Maybe make
love
that one of your New Year's resolutions, to not be afraid to be vulnerable with the people in your life and let them know how much they mean to you. Because imagine how much that will open you. It'll open your heart. It'll free you from so many things that now you'll be able to get to your other goals. You won't hold yourself back anymore.
Love it. I love it. The energy of gratitude. Okay,
Yes.
we'll stop here. Bye for now.
Bye.